Unit 6. Devout.
信心深い、敬虔な、
He is a devout Christian. Commutation.
原型、
He asked for a commutation of a sentence. Consecrate.
土地などを神に捧げる、神聖化する、
This church was consecrated 100 years ago. Bellow.
怒鳴る、
He bellowed to me to hurry up. Latent.
潜在的な、
This program aims to bring out the latent talent of children. Indiscriminate.
行動などが無差別の、見境なしの、
10 people were killed in the indiscriminate murder. Deregulate.
の規制を解く、
The government plans to deregulate the airline industry. Liken.
をなぞらえる、
Some people liken him to Sakamoto Ryoma. Droop.
だらりと垂れる、うなだれる、
The plants were drooping from lack of water. Gradient.
道などの勾配、傾斜度、
This car drives smooth even on roads with steep gradients. Reciprocate.
に報いる、
I would like to reciprocate your hospitality someday. Penchant.
傾向、趣味、好み、
She has a penchant for collecting antiques.
Cajole.
を甘い言葉で騙す、
They cajoled the official into accepting bribes. Abstinence.
節制、自制、
The campaign aims to promote abstinence from alcohol during pregnancy. Retribution.
報い、
All these are retribution for what you've done. Sluggish.
経済などが停滞した、
The government took measures to stimulate the sluggish economy. Glib.
口先だけの、出任せの、
He gave me rather glib answers. Fervor.
熱情、白熱、
There was once a fervor for students to study abroad. Linkage.
結合、つながり、
We could not find any linkage between the two incidents. Foist.
を押し付ける、偽物などをつかませる、
I don't intend to foist my political views on anyone. Heretic.
異端者、異教徒、
They were severely persecuted as heretics. Predominate.
数、力などの点で優位を占める、
Democrats predominate in the Senate. Suppress.
情報などを隠す、
The company suppressed unfavorable data. Assault.
を襲う、攻撃する、
He was assaulted by 3 men on his way home.
Banish.
人を追放する、
He was banished from the baseball world because of the scandal. Beguile.
を巧みに騙す、
We were all beguiled by his charisma. Stalwart.
組織、政党の熱心な支持者、
They are stalwarts of our volunteer activities. Garble.
を誤って伝える、
After I hung up the phone, I realized I garbled my address. Languid.
元気がない、気だるい、
I felt too languid to go out. Indemnity.
賠償金、保証金、
She demanded indemnity for the damage caused by the accident. Ardor.
情熱、熱意、
He spoke with great ardor about his opinion. Haggard.
やつれた、
She was haggard and her lips were pale. Hatch.
ひな、卵を孵化させる、ひな、卵が孵化する、
Chicken eggs take 21 days to hatch. Anoint.
に軟膏などを塗る、
He anointed his face with lotion after shaving. Perennial.
長く続く、
This dish is a perennial favorite at our restaurant. Exhort.
に強く勧める、
The lawyer exhorted her to tell the truth.
Decimate.
疫病、戦争などがの多くを殺す、
In this area, the wild animals were decimated by housing development. Incense.
香
I smelled a strong smell of incense. Delineate.
を詳述する、
This paper delineates the current state of the Japanese economy. Setback.
挫折、妨げ、
The deflation was just a temporary setback for the economic development. Insurrection.
暴動、反乱、
In the capital city, there is an insurrection going on against the government. Hygiene.
衛生状態、
Practicing good personal hygiene is the first step to staying healthy. Bulge.
膨れる、膨らむ、
His bag was bulging with books. Truancy.
ずる休み、
The teacher scolded the student for his truancy. Benchmark.
基準、尺度、
This test is commonly used as a benchmark for evaluating the ability of English. State of the art.
最新式の、
This laboratory is equipped with state-of-the-art facilities. Paucity.
不足、欠乏、
The country has suffered from a paucity of natural resources. Implicit.
暗黙の、
They took the statement as an implicit threat.
Bunker.
兵士などの避難所、 燃料庫
There is a huge bunker 100 meters underground near here. Allegory.
偶話
The story can be read as a religious allegory. Array.
配列整列
The hospital provides a wide array of services for the local people. Obfuscate.
を分かりにくくする
His explanation only obfuscated the issue further. Stowage.
積み込むスペース
This boat has ample stowage. Sublime.
荘厳な
I was overwhelmed by the sublime beauty of nature. Dogmatic.
独断的な独善的な
She is too dogmatic to argue with. Pernicious.
有害な
They are blaming the TV program, saying it has a pernicious influence on children. Cringe.
萎縮する恐怖などですくむ
She hates bugs and cringes at the thought of them. Incensed.
憤慨した激怒した
She was greatly incensed at the way she was treated. Dissension.
不和
The decision caused dissension within the ruling party. Hermit.
世捨て人隠遁者
He gave up his home and his wealth to live as a hermit.
Gauge.
を評価する判断する
The government failed to gauge the public mood. Perjury.
偽証罪
He was accused of perjury in that trial. Intricate.
入り組んだ複雑な
The transportation system in this area is very intricate. Hibernate.
冬眠する
Bears will soon start to get ready to hibernate. Impulse.
衝動
I resisted an impulse to hit him in the face. Sewage.
下水汚水
The area does not have a proper water and sewage system. Lurch.
車などの突然の揺れ
The bus started with a lurch. Mystique.
神秘的な雰囲気
There is a certain mystique about his music. Insubstantial.
中身のない弱い
There is no point in repeating insubstantial arguments. Despondent.
気落ちした絶望した
He looks very despondent over the loss of his cat. Intake.
摂取
High salt intake causes high blood pressure. Vibrant.
活気に満ちた
This area is a vibrant commercial district.
Rankle.
の心を苦しめる
It still rankles me that they made fun of me. Frigid.
厳寒の
We spent the night in a frigid basement. Clemency.
寛大な措置
They started a campaign for clemency in that case. Constrain.
を強いる
He was constrained to accept his commitment by the evidence. Belittle.
を軽視する
You shouldn't belittle people just because they don't share your opinions. Ascension.
登ること上昇
She devoted her life to the ascension of blacks in society. Resonance.
反響響き
His songs have resonance for many in my generation. Obsequious.
へつらう卑屈な
The clerk was overly obsequious and I felt uncomfortable. Astound.
を仰天させる
The news astounded us all. Deity.
神女神
The planet was named after an ancient Greek deity. Gadget.
便利な道具装置
The store offers a variety of kitchen gadgets and cookware. Precinct.
行政区選挙区
This county is divided into 4 precincts.
Incredulous.
疑い深い疑うような
An incredulous expression crossed her face. Mediator.
仲介者調停者
The UN acted as the mediator in the dispute between the two countries. Cluster.
集まり
I could see a cluster of buildings in the distance. Elaborate.
手の込んだ
She was wearing very elaborate jewelry. Sham.
ごまかしでっち上げ
The report turned out to be a complete sham. Vestige.
痕跡
There still remains a vestige of the ancient culture in their life. Murky.
闇霧などが濃い暗い
The sky was murky and it looked like it was about to rain soon. Dissent.
異議
Many citizens expressed dissent from the plan. Transgression.
違反犯罪
She is old enough to understand stealing is a transgression. Aberration.
異常逸脱
Using such words is an aberration for him. Scheme.
計画
The financing scheme is based on the present system. Decor.
内装飾り付け
The restaurant's decor was elegant.
Validate.
を実証する
She validated the utility of the new test. Ledger.
元帳
I have posted the monthly transactions to the ledger. Seamless.
継ぎ目のない一体となった
The 2 mountains look seamless on the map. Inconsequential.
重要でない
The change of government had an inconsequential effect on the economy. Banal.
陳腐な、
The plot of the movie is banal. Blissful.
至福の、
We spent some blissful hours at a spa. Cavernous.
ホラー穴のような、
The seminar was held in a cavernous hall. Gaudy.
派手な、けばけばしい、
Her gaudy dress got everyone's attention. Entrench.
習慣、理念などを根付かせる、
The way of thinking is deeply entrenched in our society. Bedraggled.
雨、泥でぐしょぐしょの、汚れた、
A bedraggled man was taking shelter from the rain under a tree. Ostensible.
表向きの、
The ostensible reason for his resignation was illness. Prune.
を剪定する、刈り込む、
We ask the gardener to prune our hedge once a year.
Jilt.
恋人を捨てる、
He was jilted by his girlfriend last week. Reap.
行為、努力の結果として報いなどを受ける、
They are at last reaping the benefits of their years of efforts. Embody.
を具現化する、体現する、
This painting embodies the thought of Zen. Entrust.
を委ねる、任せる、
He entrusted management of the company to his daughter. Attic.
屋根裏、
I found my childhood toys in the attic. Projection.
予測、
Our projections turned out to be correct. Sustain.
を維持する、
The country continues to sustain its economic growth. Perfunctory.
上辺だけの、気のない、
He gave me a perfunctory reply. Insurgent.
反乱を起こした、
Insurgent groups destroyed many government facilities. Jiggle.
細かく動く、
I heard the doorknob jiggle as someone tried to open the door. Shuffle.
足を引きずって歩く、
He shuffled like an old man. Insinuation.
ほのめかし、当てこすり、
She made the insinuation that I deceived her.
Harbinger.
前触れ、前兆、
This bird is said to be a harbinger of spring. Diatribe.
痛烈な非難
The journalist wrote a diatribe against the government's policy. Exterminate.
を絶滅させる、
I will exterminate the cockroaches in my house. Conflate.
を合成する、まとめる、
They are two different issues and should not be conflated. Prodigy.
天才、
Mozart began his musical career as a child prodigy. Volition.
意志、意欲、
I made this decision of my own volition. Niche.
市場の隙間、
The company has grown by targeting niche markets. Lassitude.
無気力、倦怠、
Such a monotonous task brings a feeling of lassitude to workers. Lurid.
ゾッとするような、どぎつい、
The magazine is full of lurid stories. Pageant.
野外劇、
That pageant is the most popular event in the festival. Promulgate.
考えなどを広める、宣伝する、
He succeeded in promulgating his ideas through the media. Retort.
と言い返す、
None of your business, she retorted.
Implacable.
なだめられない、執念深い、
The development plan is faced with implacable opposition from the local residents. Galvanize.
に衝撃を与える、を激化させる、
This event galvanized the movement for independence. Menial.
仕事などがつまらない、
He thinks that washing dishes is menial work. Extraterrestrial.
地球外の、
I believe in extraterrestrial life. Gristle.
軟骨、筋、
There is much gristle in this steak. Divine.
神の、
They believe that the world has been created by the divine will. Urbane.
洗練された、落ち着いた物腰の、
He speaks in an urbane manner. Dreary.
つまらない、
She lived in a dreary little town. Inmate.
病院、施設などの、被収容者、
He was a former inmate of the concentration camp. Unsettle.
を動揺させる、
Her unexpected answer unsettled me. Unfold.
展開する、発展する、
As the story unfolded, the popularity of the drama rose. Sanctity.
神聖さ、尊厳、
This chapter thoroughly discusses the sanctity of life.
Prerequisite.
前提条件、
A good command of English is a prerequisite for this job. Above board.
公明正大な、
We always try to do business in an above-board manner. Agility.
素早さ、機敏さ、
She did well on the test for agility. Guzzle.
をガブガブ飲む、
He guzzled several bottles of beer. Duplicity.
二枚舌、不誠実、
He was a good liar and I was not able to recognize his duplicity. Flout.
を馬鹿にして従わない、無視する。
The taxi driver who flouted the law ended up paying a fine. Perturb.
人を不安にさせる。
He was perturbed by his unfamiliar surroundings. Renunciation.
放棄、断念。
These negotiations led to the renunciation of terrorism. Levity.
軽さ、軽率さ。
She was ashamed of her levity. Cohesive.
結束した、まとまりのある。
The cohesive community slowly began to break down. Overhaul.
を分解修理する、オーバーホールする。
Recently I had my watch overhauled. Stage.
反乱などを起こす、組織する。
They staged a demonstration against the bill.
Integral.
全体を構成する一部として不可欠な。
Music is an integral part of our daily life. Disproportionately.
不釣り合いに。
This kind of bird has a disproportionately large bill. Dodge.
を巧みにかわす。
The criminal moved continuously to dodge police. Decant.
ワインなどを別の容器へ移す。
He decanted the wine an hour before drinking. Forebode.
の前兆となる。
These earthquakes forebode the eruption of the volcano. Platitude.
陳腐な言葉、決まり文句。
His speech was full of platitudes and there was nothing to listen to. Canvass.
寄付などを求めて地域を訪ね回る。
They canvassed the neighborhood for signatures. Guise.
ごまかすために装った外観。
Inequality is an old challenge in a new guise. Terrestrial.
地上の、地球の。
Digital terrestrial broadcasting began in 2003. Contagious.
伝染性の。
He got an injection for a contagious disease. Exult.
非常に喜ぶ。
The nation exulted at being delivered from the empire. Incriminate.
に罪を負わせる、を有罪にする。
You are never required to answer any question that could incriminate yourself.
Anonymous.
匿名の。
The school received a 10 million yen anonymous gift. Gratuity.
心づけ、チップ。
The lady gave the taxi driver a gratuity. Incisive.
明快な。
You always ask good and incisive questions. Pedantic.
細事にこだわる。
He is pedantic about the use of Japanese. Spectre.
不安、恐怖。
The specter of famine hangs over the country. Wilt.
草花がしおれる。人がぐったりする。
The flowers in the garden are wilting due to lack of water. Remit.
代金などを送る。
Please remit payment by cash or check. Deprecate.
を非難する、批判する。
She deprecated the government's attitude toward unemployment. Opaque.
不透明な。
The wine has a deep opaque purple color. Dexterity.
器用さ。
They used bows and arrows with great dexterity. Untenable.
支持できない。
The professor's theory is untenable to me. Decadence.
堕落、大敗。
He pointed out some factors that are responsible for the moral decadence today.
Crabby.
不機嫌な、拗ねた。
The mother is tired from taking care of her crabby child. Waylay.
人を待ち構えて引き止める。
The actress was waylaid by a group of reporters. Celibate.
独身主義の。
He chose to live a celibate life because of his religious beliefs. Consort.
悪い人間と付き合う。
There is a rumor that he consorts with the underworld. Sojourn.
滞在。
We enjoyed our sojourn in Paris. Grapple.
問題に取り組む。
Many governments are grappling with global warming. Semblance.
上辺、外見。
The city is returning to a semblance of normal life. Confinement.
監禁。
He was held in confinement for 3 months by the criminal. Hoard.
を貯蔵する、溜め込む。
She is like a squirrel and hoards things. Antagonize.
の反感を買う、を敵に回す。
His arrogant behavior antagonized everyone. Incumbent.
現職者、在任者。
In the last election, she narrowly defeated the incumbent. Submissive.
従順な。
The manager sees him as a submissive worker.
Assessment.
査定。
This test provides an objective assessment of students' abilities. Vacillate.
人が心を決めかねる、揺れる。
He vacillated between two choices. Eloquent.
スピーチなどが説得力のある、感銘を与える。
She made an eloquent speech. Concede.
譲歩して、を正しいと認める。
He finally conceded he was wrong about that. Widget.
小さな装置。
They invented a new widget to help keep drivers awake. Inimical.
有害な、反する。
Such an extreme ideology is inimical to the social order. Cove.
小さな湾、入り江、
They live in a small village by a cove. Dissemble.
本心などを隠す
He tried to dissemble his motive for seeing Chris. Plead.
の弁論、弁護を行う
An experienced attorney pleaded the case. Slaughter.
土畜、
These turkeys are raised for slaughter. Discard.
不用品などを捨てる、処分する
They discarded the old sofa when moving to their new house. Carve.
を刻む、掘る
This tower is made of beautifully carved stones.
Schism.
集団の分裂、分離
This event caused a schism in the local community. Erudition.
博識
The writer is well known for her erudition. Hardscrabble.
土地が不毛の、痩せた
They had great difficulty farming the hardscrabble land. Glimpse.
ちらりと見えること、一目
My eye caught a glimpse of something red. Enamored.
魅了された
She was completely enamored with the music. Alacrity.
気軽、乗り気
He accepted our offer with alacrity. Dubious.
疑わしく思う
I am dubious about his success. Defer.
を延期する
The committee agreed to defer their decision. Distort.
を歪める
She is distorting the truth completely. Angst.
将来などに対する不安
Many young people at that age are full of angst. Wary.
警戒している、慎重な
You have to be wary of such a good deal. Fathom.
を理解する
I couldn't fathom why she said things like that.
Queasy.
吐き気がする
The rocking of the boat made me queasy. Raid.
襲撃
The city was badly damaged by air raids during the war. Acolyte.
部下、助手、信奉者
The president was counseled by one of his most faithful acolytes. Sordid.
下劣な、浅ましい
The sordid affair was kept secret for a long time. Undulate.
波打つ、起伏する
The path undulates gently alongside a river. Accreditation.
認可、認定
The government withdrew accreditation from the college. Escapade.
突飛な行動、無茶な冒険
Why don't we stop such a silly escapade? Memoir.
回顧録、回想録
He published his memoirs after his retirement from politics. Recalcitrant.
言うことを聞かない、手に負えない
The teachers found it difficult to handle the recalcitrant students. Connive.
共謀する
They connived with some officials to steal public money. Shot.
可能性、チャンス
His team has a good shot at winning the championship. Accede.
受け入れる、応じる
The board refused to accede to the union's demand.
Curb.
を抑制する、制限する
The government raised the interest rate to curb inflation. Rapture.
歓喜、狂気
She was listening to him in rapture. Fumigate.
を燻蒸消毒する
I had my house fumigated to get rid of rats. Burnish.
金属を磨く、艶を出す
I burnished the silver ring to get it to shine again. Dredge.
川、港などを浚渫する
They dredged the harbor and built a man-made island. Grouch.
不平や
My uncle turned into a real grouch recently. Tubby.
ずんぐりした
He is a big eater and has been tubby since he was a child. Splice.
ロープなどをつなぐ
They are going to get spliced next month. Land.
食などを手に入れる
She landed a job with a good salary. Pushover.
簡単なこと、騙されやすい人
I think he is no pushover. Redolence.
方向
When entering the bakery, it had a redolence of sweet cinnamon. Retain.
を保つ、保持する
It's vital that we retain our technological edge.
Data file. Senator.
上院議員
Pastor.
牧師
Architect.
建築家
Astronaut.
宇宙飛行士
Administrator.
経営者行政官
Chancellor.
ドイツ・オーストリアの首相大学の総長
Contractor.
請負業者契約者
Craftsman.
職人工芸家
Botanist.
植物学者
Biochemist.
生化学者
Geoscientist.
地球科学者
Geologist.
地質学者
Climatologist.
気候学者
Archaeologist.
考古学者
Entomologist.
昆虫学者
Primatologist.
霊長類学者
paleontologist,
古生物学者、
astrobiologist,
宇宙生物学者、
paleoanthropologist,
個人類学者、
neurologist,
神経学者、神経科医、
neuroscientist,
神経科学者、
psychologist,
心理学者、精神分析医、
psychotherapist,
心理療法家、
psychiatrist,
精神科医、
geneticist,
遺伝学者、
epidemiologist,
伝染病学者、
physician,
内科医、医師、
surgeon,
外科医、
obstetrician,
産科医、
gynecologist,
婦人科医、
midwife,
助産師、
cardiologist,
心臓病専門医、
radiologist,
放射線医、
pharmacist,
薬剤師、
veterinarian,
獣医、
inspector,
調査員、検査官、
miner,
鉱山労働者、
rancher,
牧場主、
breeder.
飼育者、ブリーダー。